There's a pair of running shoes that cost $90, and there's a pair that cost almost $300. Both of them will get you around the block just fine. So, what are you actually paying for with that other $200? That's what we're digging into today. 5 shoes, one from every price tier, bargain all the way up to top of the line. But we're not stopping at which one's the best. Because once you start pulling on that thread, why some shoes cost so much more than others, you end up somewhere a lot messier. Lawsuits, fake websites, a debate so heated it's made governing bodies rewrite the rulebook for the entire sport of running. So, stick around. We'll get you geared up, and then we'll get into the stuff these companies really don't want you thinking about while you're checking out. Part 1. The top 5. Bargain to premium. Tier 1. The bargain pick. Around $90 to $100. Let's start at the bottom of the ladder. Shoes like the Reebok Zig Dynamica 5, sitting at about $90, and the New Balance Fresh Foam X Evaz V4, right around $100. Here's the thing though, bargain doesn't mean bad anymore, not even close. The Zig Dynamica has actually held up in independent lab testing better than shoes twice its price, with an outsole that resists wear and tear far longer than you'd expect. It's not going to feel explosive under your foot. That's not its job. Its job is getting a new runner, or a casual jogger, or someone who just needs a reliable everyday pair through 3 to 5 miles without falling apart in 3 months. Honestly, budget running shoes have quietly gotten really good. You're not sacrificing much day to day. What you're giving up shows up further down this list. Tier 2, the everyday value pick, around $110 to $130. Step up a notch and you land on the shoes running stores actually push toward beginners. The Asics Gel Contend 9, the Saucony Ride 19, these are forgiving, well cushioned, built with a lower heel to toe drop that's easier on joints that aren't used to pounding pavement yet. The Gel Contend punches above its price tag in a way that keeps surprising testers not flashy, but reliable, breathable, and comfortable enough to wear all day, not just for a run. If you're logging 3 or 4 runs a week and you're not chasing a personal record, this is genuinely all the shoe you need. Save your money. Tier 3, the all-rounder, around $140 to $160. This is the tier where most serious runners actually live. Think Nike Pegasus, New Balance 1080 V15. These are daily trainers built to handle everything from an easy recovery jog to a hard tempo run, using foam compounds a step up from what you'll find in the cheaper tiers. The 1080 V15 in particular threads a needle that's genuinely hard to thread, cushioned and responsive at the same time. If you're putting in real weekly mileage, this is the sweet spot. Enough performance to matter without race day pricing. Tier 4, the premium daily trainer, around $180 to $200. Now we're not paying for savings anymore, we're paying for how your legs feel after mile 10. The Nike Vomero Premium stacks 2 Air Zoom units surrounded by Nike's ultra soft Zoom X foam, built for long, comfortable mileage, not speed. The Asics Superblast 3 lives in this tier too, and lab testers keep ranking it near the top for max cushion daily training. Neither of these shoes is trying to make you faster. They're trying to make 50 or 60 miles a week feel survivable on your joints. If that's your training load, this is where the extra money genuinely starts paying you back. And now, the top of the mountain. Carbon-plated race shoes. The Saucony Endorphin Elite 3 at about $290. The Adidas Adizero Adios Pro Evo 3. These are not training shoes. These exist for one purpose: going as fast as a human being can possibly go on one specific day. The Endorphin Elite 3 packs a 40mm stack of Saucony's most advanced foam around a carbon fiber plate, and testers this year describe it as soft, but never mushy. Propulsion that sneaks up on you mid-stride, almost like the shoe is doing part of the work without you noticing. And the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro Evo 3 made headlines this year as the shoe reportedly worn during an official sub-2-hour marathon performance at the London Marathon, tied to elite runner Sebastian Saul. According to running industry coverage, that's the promise at the top of the market. Shoes engineered so precisely, they're credited with performances that would have sounded physically impossible a decade ago. And that promise? That's exactly where this story stops being about comfort and starts getting interesting. Part 2. The good. Because here's a wild fact. Every single shoe we just talked about, even the $90 one, exists in its current form because of one release back in 2017. Nike dropped the Vaporfly, a carbon fiber plate wrapped in a springy aerospace-grade foam called Pebax, marketed with a claim of up to 85% energy return. And it wasn't just marketing talk. Runners wearing it started posting some of the fastest marathon times ever recorded. Across the board, men's and women's fields both. One shoe. It reset an entire sport of a night. Every major brand had to scramble to respond, which is exactly why the market is now flooded with carbon-plated super shoes at every price point. That innovation eventually trickled all the way down to the budget tier we started with today. Eliud Kipchoge's sub-2-hour marathon, run in an evolved version of that same shoe, became one of the most talked about athletic feats in modern history. And say what you want about the shoe's role in it, stacking a carbon plate inside a super light, super responsive foam was a legitimate, genuine engineering breakthrough. That's the good news story here. Real competition, real innovation. But here's the thing about innovation this powerful. It doesn't stay clean for long. Part 3. The bad. Because once you start looking at what these companies do off the racetrack, in the checkout line, it gets a lot less inspiring. In 2023, Nike got hit with a class action lawsuit claiming it was displaying fake prices on its website. You know the pattern. A shoe listed at $160, crossed out, next to a $100 sale price, engineered to make you feel like you're getting a deal. A separate, more recent lawsuit alleges some of these Nike sales have run for over 90 days straight, which raises an obvious question. If the discount lasts 3 months, was it ever really a discount? Then there's the sustainability angle. Back in 2023, a Missouri woman filed a greenwashing lawsuit against Nike, claiming that out of the 2,452 products in Nike's sustainability collection, only 239 of them, about 10%, actually contained any recycled material. The lawsuit argued customers were paying a premium for eco-friendly products that mostly weren't. Now, to be fair to Nike, a federal judge dismissed that case and an appeals court upheld the dismissal. Legally, Nike won. But sit with that number for a second regardless of the verdict. A sustainability line where the overwhelming majority of the products may not have contained meaningful recycled content in the first place. Adidas didn't get off nearly as easy. In 2025, a German court in Nuremberg actually found Adidas guilty of greenwashing, ruling the company couldn't back up its public pledge to reach climate neutrality by 2050 with anything real. No fine attached. But it put every sportswear brand on notice. Vague, feel-good climate promises can now actually get you dragged into court and lose. And honestly, that's the mild stuff, because once we leave the marketing department, it gets a lot uglier fast. Part 4, the ugly. Let's start with the fairness fight over the exact same super shoes we just praised a minute ago. Because not everybody called the Vaporfly innovation. A lot of people in the running world called it technological doping. And the logic isn't crazy. If a shoe alone can improve a runner's efficiency by roughly 4%, are we even measuring the athlete anymore? Or are we measuring the shoe? World Athletics, the sport's governing body, actually banned an early Vaporfly prototype from competition before eventually caving and writing new rules around stack height and plate design, just in time for the Tokyo Olympics. That debate has never gone away. It resurfaces every single time a world record falls in a shoe that didn't even exist 5 years earlier, and it leaves behind a genuinely uncomfortable question. Were some of running's greatest legends ever competing on a level playing field with the athletes who came after them? Now here's where it stops being an abstract fairness debate and starts hitting regular people directly in the wallet. Nike has been locked in a multi-year legal battle with resale platform StockX, accusing it of selling counterfeit sneakers while slapping a 100% authentic guarantee on them. Court filings claim Nike tracked down dozens of confirmed counterfeit pairs sold through the platform, some sold to the exact same buyer more than once. StockX is pushing back hard, arguing the disputed pairs are a tiny fraction of the millions of shoes they've verified. That fight is still working its way through the courts right now, and then it gets uglier still, because scammers aren't waiting on a courtroom, they're coming straight for you. There are entire networks of fake websites out there right now, cloning Hoka's branding down to the exact logo and product photos, advertising a $140 shoe for under $20. These ads run on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, some even impersonating retailers like Dick's Sporting Goods, using fake store closing urgency to get you to click before you think twice. Best case, you get a cheap counterfeit. Worst case, you get nothing at all, and your card number is already gone. If you ever see a running shoe at 90% off through a random social ad, that's not a deal. That's bait. And then there's the oldest, ugliest story in this whole industry, and it hasn't actually gone anywhere. It's just evolved. Nike still carries the weight of the sweatshop scandals that broke in the 1990s, and reporting since then keeps surfacing fresh allegations tied to forced labor and low wages inside parts of its supply chain. Adidas has its own version, past reporting alleging child labor and forced overtime inside Indonesian factories, plus chemical runoff from manufacturing that polluted water sources near some of its plants. Both companies have publicly promised reform more than once, but the fact that greenwashing claims and labor allegations keep resurfacing, decade after decade, tells you the follow-through hasn't always matched the promise. Closing. So, here's where that leaves you, standing in the shoe aisle. The good news, running shoe technology has genuinely gotten better at every single price point, and that $90 shoe we opened with would have outperformed a $200 shoe from 10 years ago. You do not need to spend $300 to run comfortably, but that price tag on the box isn't only paying for foam and carbon plates. Sometimes it's paying for a marketing department's inflated before price. Sometimes it's paying for a sustainability label that falls apart under scrutiny. And if you're shopping somewhere other than the brand's own site or an authorized retailer, it might not be paying for a real shoe at all. So buy direct or buy from somewhere you actually trust. Be suspicious of any discount that feels too aggressive to be real. And next time you lace up, whichever tier you picked, remember you're standing on top of one of the wildest decades this industry has ever had. Genuine innovation, a few lawsuits, and a handful of scandals these companies would really rather you'd already forgotten about.